What is up, guys? Matt here. Game videos for this month. We're doing Santorini, that game that I boxed not that long ago. Um, so it's 2 4-player game made by Roxley Games. Um, it's really short playtime. I mean, it's kind of depending. It could be really short. It could be a little bit longer. 2 4 players. It's like a 3D. It's like a 3D platforming game. Um, I don't know. It's a cool little cute game. It's they. I think they say themselves that it's a non-abstract reimagining of the old Santorini game, but then I see people saying that it is abstract. So I'm not really sure what to say it is. Let's say that it is maybe could be abstract game. Um, but it's a really cool game, and I'm going to show you how to play it and set it up and all that good stuff, and then I'm going to tell you what I think of this game. And if you haven't checked out my gameplay of this video yet, then after this video, definitely go check that out. But let's get into setting up and learning how to play Santorini, though. Here we go. Alright, guys, so to set up, you get your 3 pieces of the board. Uh, Obviously, biggest one on the bottom, then you got your rocks. They are this way, bigger, going down to the smallest area. Just fit it into little nukes there, little slits, and pretty easy. So once you have your board set up, like always, 2-player game set up here. You want to pick out a set of workers. There's 3 different colors, and whoever goes first, they pick where they want to put their workers first, and they can put them anywhere on the board. And then second player places theirs anywhere on the board that they want that's not already occupied. And then you're ready to start. So all you have to do is you literally just take one of your workers, you move it in a square around you. You can go diagonal and anywhere you want. That is one space in a square around you. You move it, and then you do the same thing with building. You build anywhere in a square around you. You always start with the biggest 3rd tier, and then once you do that, then it's your opponent's turn. They can then move and build, and then you can then move and build. There are 3 tiers that you can build. Boom. There are 3 tiers, and there is also a dome that can go on top of the 3rd tier. So to win the game, you want to make it so you're able to basically go like do and do. You'll make it so you can just go up each tier to the 3rd tier. Once you get to the 3rd tier, then you are victorious. You cannot jump up from the ground level to a 2nd tier or the ground level to the 3rd tier. You can only go one level at a time. So ground to the first to the second to the 3rd. But you can jump down any number of tiers to the ground level. So if you were on the 2nd tier and you want to go down here, you could do that. Let's say this does happen and this player is right here. We got this guy right here. Your opponent's next turn, they're just going to move up there and win. So to block that, you can move towards it and then put a dome on there. Any area that is domed cannot be moved onto. There is a god power which allows you to put a dome anywhere on any tier, even on a 1st tier or the ground level or anything. I think you can do it on the ground level. It's at least on the buildings. Um, but in a normal game, you can only put a dome on a third tier. And I mean, that's basically all you need to know to play. You just move a worker, you build a building, you try to get up to the third tier while trying to also stop your opponent from getting to the third tier. Um, Another way you can win is by blocking in your opponent so they are not able to move at all. So let's just say you're in the corner here. It's your opponent's turn. You're right here. They move and they build right here. So you are no longer able to move this worker at all and build anywhere. So then you only have this worker here. If it happens again to this worker right here, then you lose the game. So that's just the base way to play it. There are also god powers in the game that change up the gameplay completely. So the base game has tons of different gods you can use, each with a different ability. And some of them also have different win conditions. Oh, I pulled out the wrong one there. Where'd it go? Like my favorite here, Cronus. His alternate win condition is by having 5 completed towers built, which is dome and all, 1 through 3 tiers and the dome. So you can win through the normal way, or you could also win by having 5 completed towers. They are also ones that control movement. They can destroy tiers, they can build extra tiers, all that good stuff. Which just adds a bunch of replayability to the game. And then there is also an expansion. This box looks prettier. The Golden Fleece, which you may or may not have gotten if you kickstarted it. But that includes this little Golden Fleece miniature. So in a 2-player game, when you use the Golden Fleece, you are going to set it up normally. So first player places theirs, second player places theirs. Boom. And the first player is going to decide where the Golden Fleece is placed in any unoccupied space. There are also god powers that are associated with the Golden Fleece. They have a little fleece icon in the upper corner. So you're going to take all the Golden Fleece god powers out, shuffle them up. Shuffle them up if you choose. You can also just pick one. If you want to be random about it, you can shuffle it up. Either way you choose to do it. It says in the rules just to pick one, but maybe you just want to be random. Maybe you want to randomize it. It's really up to you. It doesn't make it doesn't make like a huge deal, but you're going to pick a god power, and then that god power is going to be associated with the Golden Fleece. Any worker that is touching it in a space next to the Golden Fleece, you're going to be able to use that god power. So this worker right here will be able to use whatever god power there is. Let's pick this one, which what it says. Oh, I think each of the god powers has this little like illustration at the bottom showing you what it does. And if I get this right, you can go from this side over to this side, which is kind of weird. I mean, no. Yeah, so since that worker is touching there, you can move this worker over onto the side, which actually makes it a lot harder for you to block your opponents in to a single space. You would have to like have them right here and block them all the way around an entire square instead of just like block them into a corner. So that's interesting. Yeah, that's basically for the Golden Fleece. That's the big change that does. Now, if you're going to include god powers in your 2-player game, what you're going to do is You're going to have someone who's designated as the challenger, who in the rules says whoever is the most godlike. Um, I mean, you could just pick someone at random. You could switch it if you play multiple games, but basically the challenger is going to pick god cards equal to the number of players. So in a two-player game, you're going to be picking two, and then he passes those to the person on their left. So just the other person in a two-player game, they're going to pick one of the two god powers, and then the challenger gets the god power that is left over. And yeah, that's basically it. Every single thing that you would need to know to play this game, including stuff for the Golden Fleece expansion. Okay, so you know all the great information, how to play this game. Now you really want to play this game. But is it a good game? Hell yeah, it is. This game is super freaking sweet. Super freaking sweet. Right off the bat, it's like a 9 out of 10. This game is super awesome. The 3D board is kind of unnecessary, but I really like it because it looks cool. Um, and it just kind of like adds to the tower building of the game because it's a 3D board and then you're a 3D, you're like building buildings and stuff. You get what I mean. Um, it's really cool. I like there's so much strategy that actually goes into this game, especially when you add on the god powers. Um, when I think of it like chess because you really have to think super far ahead and think of every single possible move that could happen, which can make the game go longer. But a lot of the games that I've had were actually pretty short, which is something that I really like about this game. And I also really like that it's super easy to teach somebody how to play this game. Like you could literally, I guess, I guess you can't literally teach it in 30 seconds because I don't know. I guess it really depends on the person. But it is super easy to teach, which is a huge plus for a game. And I mean, it just looks super good. The towers are just white, and then the dome is blue. It's so like it's super simple, but it just like looks so good together. And the gods themselves, I don't think they're completely balanced because I've played a couple games. I played two games against. I played one game against Pan and one game as Pan, and it just seemed like Pan's unbeatable. And I don't know if it was just because, I mean, I haven't played like a hell of a lot of this game, so I don't know like an expert strategy against Pan, and people don't know a great strategy against Pan if I play him. But it just seems like he's like way too good. And the same with Zeus. It seems like if you play against Zeus and you're not playing a super specific god to counter him, you're not gonna beat him, which kind of sucks. But you don't need to play with god powers. I mean, until you get into like 3 or 4 player games, then you kind of do. But 2 player game, you don't need to, which is really nice. It can just be a straightforward game, and I just think this game is like super good. It just looks so nice. The art is really awesome. All the god card art, it just looks really good, and like even like the little workers, the workers detail like on those miniatures is way better than I've seen in some miniatures, where like the miniatures are actually like a bigger part of the game than these are because like you could just like have meeples or something for this. Um, like having a super detailed worker isn't like I don't feel like a really huge deal. Um, but they're actually like a lot more detailed than I would have expected, and I don't know. This game is just super awesome, and definitely check it out. Definitely pick it up. Santorini by Roxley Games. I can't stress enough how badly you need to play this game because it's super awesome. But that is it. That's what I think of this game. Super awesome. 2 thumbs up. 9 out of 10. Can't get enough of this game. Yeah, check out Roxley Games. They're on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. They have a website as well. All their information will be in the description, along with all my stuff, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Capes and Scowls stuff as well. So check that out. And if you haven't seen the gameplay yet, go check it out so you can see this game in action. I try to show you as much of this game as I can. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And I'll see you next time. Stay cool and awesome. Like always. See you later, gang. Woohoo!